good morning, and good morning, sunshine. Happy Sunday. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, universe. Good morning, ancestors. Good morning, y'all. Hey, y'all. Hey, good morning. I want to thank everybody that's here. I am your girl, Organized Chaos, with my little, thumbnail up because, girl, I like it. I like just being invisible sometimes, looking a mess behind the camera. Anywho, if you have not subscribed, liked, or shared, or hopefully commented in the chat or the replay, please do so. I appreciate you and I love you for being here. Hey, girl. Hey, I was thinking yesterday, and I meant to text you, Foxy. We need a women of a certain age. We need to get it together. I need you to send me some topics so I can do my little thingy and we can get one going on. We haven't done one in a while. I definitely feel like we need to do like one about women dating younger men or being attracted to younger men. Or maybe older men, or like the age gap, what the age gap is when you consider what are we called? We not the cougars. We cougars. I would be a cougar if I date somebody 10 years younger than me. I want to talk about that. Foxy, send me some stuff. Send me some ideas. We need to do them at a certain age. For real, for real. Hey boo, hey bikini, grand rising boo. Thank you for being here. Learning. Good morning, girl. Hey girl, hey, how are you? Girl, I've been missing my weekdays. I love those weekday devotionals I was able to do. And unfortunately, I can't even say I can still do them. I can't. My whole life is flipped, turned upside down. And it is the best thing ever. OMG. My new job is just such a blessing, y'all. Ooh, ooh, like, ooh. I love it. And I'm so stressed out about it, but I love it. Like, I feel like I have magical powers. I always had magical powers inside of the classroom, but I get to take my magical powers and expand them. It's so awesome and amazing. And have other people that you can tell they have magical powers too. Yeah. It's just a different kind of thing. And then let me tell y'all something. So learning. And if y'all been here on my journey, my brother my brother has been brothering me for 50 years, right? So he knows your girl. He knows your girl. When I first got the offer, he called me. He was like, "Congratulations!" And then he called me while me and Foxy and our friends were still in Vegas. He was like, "Okay, look, I ain't gonna tell y'all his nickname for me because nobody gets to call me that but him." He was like, "Look, I need you to keep that other personality away from your job." I was like, boy, I know how to code switch. Like, I've been doing this all my life. I got this. He was like, no, 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 you don't. I know you. I'm like, boy, leave me alone. So then listen. So yesterday I'm at home getting my daughter ready to go back to school. I'm braiding her hair. He calls me yesterday. How's it going? What's going on? I was like, listen, I know you worried about me. Don't. They really hired me for all of me. I was exactly who I am in the interview. And now that I'm there and I see where they put me, they wanted me at this place. This is a very special place. And special people like me need to be there to love on the other special people in the world. So, yes, I am enjoying this new journey. Everybody, speaking to everybody. I love y'all. I miss y'all, family. I'll be around on YouTube like I usually be. Yes, hit that like, share, and subscribe for your girl. It's the Cougar segment. Yes, Foxy. We need to do, I feel like we need to do like 10 years younger or 10 years older. Like that age gap there. Something like that. I don't know. Something like that. All right, so I already gave you the little brief overview of the new position. I'm gonna tell y'all this. So my new superintendent, y'all, so we had our administrators kind of like a retreat where we all got together in our little penguin suits. Well, as my boss calls them, our funeral suits. But you know, my funeral suit wasn't funeraling because I'm extra. I had on a little, you know, a little what is it when it was like a little checker brown and white suit. I didn't do blue or black or the standard mode of operation. I had to be extra. And then this year when we were in Vegas shopping, all of my shoes are going to be sparkly gym shoes. All of my shoes are going, so I had on sparkly gym shoes with my suit at the little retreat. When I saw the superintendent, y'all, she's this cutest little lady with this preacher like um or era or aura about herself. And it just made me like I'm used to I ain't gonna I've never been in a well, yes, I have. I'm not gonna lie and say that. One of my superintendents was a black lady, but I didn't know her like that. She didn't give me warm, fuzzy feelings. This lady, like, she gave me warm, fuzzy feelings. It was really nice. I was like, "I like it here." Okay, I'm back. Yes. Can y'all hear me? Child, my whole computer just shut off. It literally, the screen on my computer turned blue and it said your device ran into a problem. It needs to restart. I'm like, girl, did nobody ask you to restart? What in the whole United States of America is StreamYard or this laptop doing, girl? I was like, all right, y'all, well, we just gonna have to sit here and wait for the computer to restart. That has never happened to me before. OMG, that was some new. That was some new. Okay, then, computer restarting. All right, I'm back. So, okay, so yeah, I don't even know where I was at with my little fairy, like superintendent girl. Yes, I'm loving it. Yes, I am an assistant principal this year. Got a new position in a new district, and so far so good. And what I told myself is I want to remember how I'm feeling right now. Hear me? It looks like it might be glitching because it got my little Wi-Fi thing. It says it's unstable. Can y'all hear me good? Child. Computer, StreamYard. It might have been StreamYard. Okay, it looks clear now. It's clear now. Okay, I'm back. All right, so yeah, I just want to remember this like I'm mentally taking clear visual pictures of my feelings right now because when the rubber hits the road and all of the shit gets laid in my lap and fingers start getting pointed, I just want to remember what this feels like, how good this feels to really feel like I'm in a space that fits me, right? So that's my goal, just to remember the feel goods of all of this. Nickname at the beginning. I did not tell y'all my brother's nickname for me. I did not tell y'all my brother's nickname for me. Bikini. I swear I don't think I did. I don't know. I might have. I might have slipped up and told y'all. I don't know. I'm gonna tell you this. One time, my son, when he was real little, he tried to call me that nickname. Chile, out girl. I was about to jump down that little boy's throat. Cause what you don't do, that no, absolutely not. Yes, please. Hey, I see you are a family. Mm-hmm. Thank you for being here. Yes, please share, subscribe, like, and all of the things. All right, we are back. My glitching hopefully has stopped glitching. Hey, Mrs. America. Good morning, sunshine, and happy Sunday. Yeah, I got some hot tea today with me, along with my water. I need to work out. I didn't work out today, and I'm not going to listen, y'all. I was so gluttonous. Is it gluttony? Yeah, it was gluttonous. I was so gluttonous yesterday. I think I told y'all about my favorite. It's not ice cream. My favorite frozen dessert is this almond milk. It's not even milk. This almond, whatever, almond dairy like ice cream in the pint thingies instead of these little sandwich bars. I couldn't take it no more. I hadn't bought any since I kind of came back from Vegas. I couldn't take it no more. So I went to Whole Foods yesterday and I ate 2 of them. I ate the chocolate chip cookie dough and I ate the raspberry chantilly cake. Yes, it was terrible. And so I didn't work out yesterday because I had to braid my daughter's hair most of the day. So I gotta get on my bike today. Either if it doesn't rain, I'm gonna go outside. If it does, I'll be on my Peloton. But I gotta get it together for sure. Because what we're not gonna do is gain this weight back. I did tell y'all to. I'm not telling y'all again. So if you don't know the nickname, then you don't get to know the nickname that my brother calls me. Thank you, Mrs. America, for smashing that like button. All right, y'all. Across that bridge, we are in the book that John Lewis wrote, Life Lessons and a Vision for Change. As always, I'll preface this book with I try to stay away from politicalizational topics on my YouTube channel. However, yeah, look at Miss America. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. If you ask me again, I might tell you later. I can't tell you right now because then y'all gonna be clowning me the whole live. No, God, not today on this good Sunday. No, 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 no. So look. So we only have 2 sections left. These sections, it takes me a minute to read them though, because my attention span is like that of a gnat. And when it gets to the politicalizations of all the politicalizations of it all, I be having some things to say. I still try to keep it, as cute as possible and not go too deep into it with how I really feel about stuff. But, I do get sidetracked and we have to pull over and, I do a little sidebar conversation. So if you can bear with me, we might get through these last 2 today. I doubt it, but we'll see. So this chapter is love and the last chapter is reconciliation. We'll see where we get with the love. We're already almost 20 minutes in and I haven't even started. So yeah, that's how this day is going already. All right, y'all. Again, thank you for being here. I appreciate y'all. And let's get into the good late John Lewis, a United States congressman from the South who understood the civil rights march and all of the things that come with being politically correct and incorrect when needed, and all of the good trouble of all of the things. We are all bound by the ties of love. Even as there is cohesive force in blind matter, so much must there be in all things animate, and the name for the cohesive force among animate beings is love. Mohandas Gandhi, Young India, October the 6th, 1921. Y'all, okay, so look, I already got to take a side trip. The building that I work in, first of all, it's in one of the largest school districts that we have in Michigan, girl. And I was like, oh, they got money, right, girl? My building, I think, is like built in 1921, 1922. And when I walked in, I was like, my bougie is not pleased right now. That's one of the things that I'm going to have to get my mind right about this building. Y'all. I can't even tell y'all the story behind it, but y'all. Okay, anyway, back into the book. Love is the willingness to sacrifice, to be beaten, to go to jail, to be killed for the betterment of society rather than live out your life in silence. The civil rights movement, above all, was a work of love. Yet, even 50 years later, it is rare to find anyone who would use the word love to describe what we did. We were consciously aware that unity was our ultimate goal, and if that was truly our aim, we had come to grips with the fact that after all the warring was done, reconciliation, love, and forgiveness would have the final say. Our protests were our way of standing in the truth to reach our errant brothers and sisters and encourage them to see the abiding truth that was there before the foundation of the world and would last beyond our existence. We are one people, one family. I like to use the analogy of one house to describe our kinship to all humankind. We all live together in the same house, in different rooms, perhaps, but under the same roof and within the same walls. If one section of our house begins to rot, a basement, a back room, a closed off closet, the entire structure is in danger of collapsing. It is only by recognizing our unity that we can prevail. In 1961, 13 original freedom riders, 7 blacks and 6 whites, left Washington, D.C., traveling on a Greyhound to New Orleans. We sat in an integrated fashion on the bus to test a Supreme Court ruling that rendered segregation in interstate transportation illegal. Although this new law had been passed, states in the Deep South continued racially discriminating, forcing blacks to sit in the back of the bus and to surrender their seats to standing whites. Most bus stations still posted white waiting and colored waiting signs. Our plan was to challenge this injustice. Typically, when a train or bus traveling south from New York City, for example, would get below the Mason Dixon line, the black passengers would be asked to get up from their seats and move to the back of the bus. Our plan was for black and white freedom riders to simply remain seated next to each other. And when we got off the bus and entered the stations, white riders would use restrooms marked colored, and black riders would use restrooms and facilities marked white. It was that simple. But I knew that further south we traveled, the more likely we would be to run into violence. No matter how bad the beatings were, we would not physically fight back. Ours was a nonviolent mission. We knew it was dangerous, and all of us wrote out our last request before we boarded the bus in case we did not return. On the Freedom Ride, I was prepared to die. Have you guys ever had a cause outside of your immediate self or your family that you were actually willing to die for? Like literally, you knew that death was on the other side of a decision that you were making and you chose it. That type of strength and bravery, we don't see that very often in our lifetimes. Although he's no longer with us, just to have his words with us still and to realize that the 60s were not that long ago. Even though younger people like to think it was, I was born in 72. This is not that long ago. All of the participants on the ride had been taught the discipline and philosophy of nonviolence. But those of us who participated in the Nashville movement have benefited from gifted teachers. Reverend Jim Lawson, himself a conscientious objector to the Korean War, who had traveled to India to walk in the footsteps of Gandhi, and Reverend Kelly Miller Smith, a learned and esteemed church leader in Nashville. They taught us the philosophy of Gandhi, Thoreau, Emerson, Plato, Aristotle, and others to illuminate the lineage of thinkers who believed in the inalienable rights of humankind. We had also participated in role playing that prepared us mentally and physically. You have to prepare mentally and physically for death or justice, whichever one was coming. This is what they were preparing for, y'all. Every time I tell these big companies they are racist, I get nervous that they are going to try to make me out. I love him, not try to. Listen, Mrs. America, I think that's what put a target on my back in my former district. I was having the dish. See, this right here. Here we go. Let's pull over. I was having a conversation. I have a mentor in my new district. Like literally, they have wrapped me with people to ensure I'm successful in my new job, y'all. Like I can't even explain it. So I was having just a conversation with my mentor the other day, and I hadn't pinpointed when I felt like they started coming for me in my former district, right? And it wasn't until we were talking and it came out. So in the year 2018, 2019, that school year, I got recognized as the middle school teacher of the year. I was the first Black person in my school, in that school district, to be the middle school or any elementary, middle, or high school. I was the first Black overall teacher of the year in that district. Everybody wanted to be my friend, board members, people that I didn't know, and I befriended them. That is where I fucked up. I didn't even realize it till literally a couple days ago, y'all. That is what put the target on my back. That is when people started to get to know like me as a human being. As a teacher, my magic is created through all of the different areas of who I am as a human being. These grown-ups didn't like me though, right? Once they got to know me, the grown-ups and who they were as human beings didn't mesh with who I was as a human being. And that's when I got targeted. I didn't even know it until like literally Friday, having this conversation with my mentor. I was like, yo, light bulb moment. Because what I am trying to make sure that I don't do now that I have a fresh start is make the same mistakes twice, right? Like I'm going to be me. My social media, I guarded some spaces. I created different spaces. I created professional spaces where if you Google me as a professional, all you can see is professional. Now, if you can put together 2 + 2 = 5 and figure out all of my other personalities on the social media, then you did a whole lot of work because I cleaned that stuff up within this last year, right? But girl, that's when it happened. I was not on their radar until I was. And when I was, and I became friendlier with people who I shouldn't have been friendlier with, they start coming for me. They started looking for me. They started wanting to dismantle my magic. My magic was uncomfortable for the grown-ups. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Grown-ups being disturbed because you feel a way about racism that you see clearly. but they don't want to acknowledge within the school system. Because one of the things that I've been very consistent about across all of my content is that the systems in the United States of America, the welfare system, the educational system, the prison system, the policing systems, our political systems, all of our systems are fucked up. All of our systems are built on racist ideology, like period, flat out. And if you are afraid to acknowledge that as a human being, then you lying to yourself. And yes, I'm going to make you uncomfortable. Am I able to work within those systems? Yes, I've been trained to work within those systems. I have degrees to be able to work in those systems. But it doesn't change the fact that I can see these racist ass systems clearly. And that I can say that I see you. And I see that you are continuing to want to uphold the bullshit. Why? Because the least of us are the ones that suffer inside of our systems. And since I am an educator and I love the kids more than anything, that's my target audience every day. I make you uncomfortable because I want the kids to be comfortable. I don't want you targeting the least of them. If you make accommodations for the least of them, everybody will benefit. But you find a way to discriminate. You find a way to suspend kids. You find a way to pack the kids with the behaviors into certain classrooms that you don't put into other classrooms. You find a way to let this teacher that is ineffective continue to teach. Stop it. Stop it. And then you want to keep hiring people just like that because that's comfortable for you. You don't like the people that make you uncomfortable and challenge your thinking. That's how I got on the radar. Y'all, it was the most eye-opening thing I've ever, well, not ever, child, because my whole life is becoming very eye-opening in my older age. Yes, Mrs. America. At one of my interviews that I've been on, I told him, I was like, we need to burn this whole damn system down and start over. I didn't get that job. They didn't hire me, Mrs. America. It was like, girl, she's a little bit too radical for us. But I said it because I meant it. So I'm gonna play nice. I'm gonna be a good girl. But this is who I am. You're not gonna stop me from being who I am. You're not gonna stop me from fighting for the least among us. Like, stop it. Stop it. All right, back into the book. Let's stay focused. Mrs. America, you're distracting me. And I love it. I do. It is true though. It's true though, girl. All right, come on, focus. We left Washington and rode through Virginia and North Carolina without much disturbance until we hit Rock Hill, South Carolina on May the 9th, 1961. My seatmate was Albert Bigelow, a nice white gentleman from Connecticut. Albert got off the bus first and was immediately besieged by violent attackers. Then I got off the bus and tried to enter the bus station, walking into a so-called white waiting room. I heard, other side, am I allowed to say? I think I can say that word. Other side, nigger. This is Nigger with the ER. John Lewis wrote it in the book, not me. Don't be mad at me for using the word, y'all. As I tried to pass in front of a group of angry men standing near the door. Instantly, fists were coming from everywhere, punching me in the face. I was knocked to the floor and repeatedly kicked in my sides. Albert and I were left in a pool of blood. Some police officers approached us, asking if we wanted to press charges against the men who had so savagely beaten us, and we said no. They were flabbergasted. They could not believe it or understand why. We simply told them that ours was not a struggle against individuals. It was a struggle against a system. Y'all, this is the prevalent theme in most of my content. A system of injustice. We got back on the bus and kept pressing on. May 20th, 1961. Though we had been forewarned of possible attacks, there was an unusual calm as the bus approached the terminal in Montgomery, Alabama. That peace was short-lived. Within moments, an angry white mob descended, brutally beating us with our own suitcases, dragging us out of the terminal as we tried to take cover in cabs. They had baseball bats, chains, bricks, and any weapons they could find. There is a famous photograph of me and another writer, Jim Zwerg, standing together, splattered in blood after the attack, with blood on the sleeve of his jacket. Zwerg has a tissue in one hand while he feels the hole where his teeth had been with the other. I doubt that professors who teach the history of the movement today would say that if you boil down our intent into one all encompassing residual word, the remaining essence would be love. Yet I am here to tell you that among those of us who were at the heart of the movement, who fully embodied the discipline and philosophy of nonviolence and viewed it as a reflection of profound truth, for those of us who accepted it not simply as a tactic, but as a way of authentically living our lives, our sole purpose was, in fact, love. Love. We would settle for proceeds of justice and equal rights. But the force guiding our involvement was the desire to redeem the souls of our brothers and sisters who were beguiled by the illusion of superiority, taken in and so distorted by their false God that they were willing to destroy any contradiction of that faith. If we were pawns of an unjust system, they were also so complicit in their own degradation that they justified wrong as a service to the right. The inequities that surrounded us in school, sharecropping systems, housing, and land ownership were justified by a belief in the subhumanity of the oppressed. Because people believed certain members of the population were incapable of elevating their minds or their station in society. It was easy to see slavery or sharecropping as a beneficent system that was offering savages more than they could ever achieve on their own. Lynching and vigilantism were considered duties, the necessary protection of men who were guarding the sanctity of social boundaries and the purity of their lineage. Y'all, I got to take a pause right here and tell y'all I got to go on a field trip real quick because I want to put this in the chat, but I can't remember the name of it because the way my brain is set up, I could watch something at night. So, I had to braid my daughter's hair last night, and that's really the only time I actually watch. Okay, I don't want to hear you, girl. That's the only time I watch television, which is not really television. I watch Netflix, and I want to share with you guys this Netflix show that I watched last night. And I'm going to tell you what made me think about it. It's called Who We Are. So this is on Netflix, y'all. Let me pause it because he's going to start talking. It's called Who We Are, A Chronicle of Racism in America. I'm going to put it in the chat. This is on Netflix. Who We Are. And what made me think about this is because one part of this documentary, he speaks of the lynchings. He talks about this part too in this book. He says sharecropping, housing, because people believe certain members of the population were incapable. He talked about the lynchings. The only way lynchings were able to exist is because the system, right? Like we look back at lynchings and we're like, it's an atrocity. Think about the legality of lynchings, y'all. Where else can you go in broad daylight in the center of town under a big tree, set up shop, gather all of the people together and hang human beings as a sport. It has to be allowed. The law has to allow it. The law has to endorse it. Lynching was allowed because the people in charge said, go for it. Hang them high. Blood on the leaves. If y'all haven't watched this series, I strongly recommend it. It's good. It reminds me of the 13th, but it gives you a little bit more context outside of the prison system. The 13th gives you a inside view into the 13th Amendment and how the prison system is allowed to. But he does talk about that in this documentary too. They traded slavery for the prison system. When you see the uptick of prisoners after the end of slavery and that system, America should be ashamed of itself. But it's not. This is what it was set up to do. All right. Let me stay focused. Back into the book. No matter the rationale, these ideas put a virtuous face on centuries of brutal history that actually robbed our aggressors of their moral grounding and made them creative participants in violence. Though these oppressed were not responsible for the original distortions, our complicity with their abuse helped to verify the validity of these injustices. But the minute we stopped participating in a degrading system, it gave those who were troubled by nagging questions and those who were too blinded to see any hypocrisy a door, a window out of a way of life that was bound to deteriorate around them. Being willing to withstand their rage, to serve as a reflection in which they could see themselves, was actually an act of compassion and love that helped release millions of white Southerners from the burdens inherent in the work of hate. You may easily say that self-love is another evident spiritual derivative of what we accomplished. Without a doubt, that is true. The capacity to stand up at times when we would have once been afraid was deeply empowering. To be able to count ourselves among the few willing to die for a just cause was ennobling. There is no question that reviving our own sense of self-worth was perhaps a subconscious draw for every participant in the movement. It also became a clear benchmark for the ministers and teachers who prepared in us a willingness to sacrifice our own lives, if necessary, for a cause. A kind of elegant dignity coupled with the simplicity of our protest was a part of the movement's attraction to those who flooded into the South to stand with us. People wanted to do something in the face of this injustice. They longed for the profound sense of pride that accompanies righteous activism, along with the need to fulfill a greater purpose. The civil rights movement gave people something tangible to do so that they could actively contribute in creating a unified nation. To reconcile ourselves with one another, we must release our judgments and make peace with the fact that we are one. This country was founded on the idea that we are all created equal. I'm gonna pull over. Not really. Not really. I mean, we know that. Like, if you know anything, you know that everybody was created equal if you were a rich white man, then if you were a white man, then if you were a white woman. Everybody else was not created equal. But I digress. If we truly believe in the equality of all humankind, how can we put down and belittle one another? How can we disrespect and prejudge one another? Child, I can't read this morning. I'm sorry. And prejudge one another. How can we come to the point where we malign and hate one another? For those who cannot find their dignity in the actions of nonviolent resistance, especially after the assassination of leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and incidents like the Orangeburg Massacre in South Carolina, Black power or the ideas of self-defense grew in popularity. They were advocated as quicker paths to self respect and an appreciation of one's self worth through retaliating against the wrongs brought against us. It may have worked for some people. I would never question the value of affirming oneself or recognizing and utilizing collective strength to make our voices heard. However, I would say that the danger of matching threat for threat, violence with violence, resistance with force, I'll add energy with energy, is that it has the potential to create the same spiritual deficit the victim is struggling against within him or herself. This is me interjecting. I've seen it. If an idiot challenges you and you respond to the idiot, I can no longer tell who the idiot is. Is the idiot now you for responding to the person or the thing that really was an idiot? If you get down in the mud with the pig, you too will be covered in mud and be muddy just like the pig. And I might not know which one is the pig and which one is not. You cannot match energy for energy. Especially, well, you can match good energy, but toxic energy, negative energy, violent energy, you have no control over that energy. You cannot contain that type of energy. And that energy can take you to places that you will regret. We are better than that. And I am speaking this specifically to any content creator that finds themselves in conflict with others. Please be mindful of your energy. Please, as my good big sis says, protect your peace. Please protect your peace, y'all. It's just not worth it. The nation of an eye for an eye though biblical, only lowers an individual to the level of his or her attacker. We see this played out so dramatically in the plague of war. Our stated intention in Iraq, for example, was to rescue the Iraqi people from tyranny. I'm so sick of America trying to get in other people's business and rescue child. No, we got enough. No, America, stop it. Always up in other people's soup. And our own Kool-Aid ain't stirred up, child. Go. Yet, after the tyrant has deposed and killed, we replaced one form of violence, a human dictator who reigned through fear, with another. The people of Iraq are still not free from fear today, despite the claims that they are better off now, because we use the same tools as the violator. The truth of the situation is obscured, making the victims defending themselves begin to look strangely similar to the aggressors they are defending against. This is also played out on the streets in gang warfare. Gangs often form as an attempt to defend against marauding bullies. That's how these YouTube streets be doing, girl. Listen, this just made me laugh. Because it be people on YouTube acting like they is not for the bullying of all of the things. And then they be the ones being bigger bullies than the bullies they say they not bullying. Make the math and it don't make, it's not mathing. The 2 and the 2 is 10. It's not 4 anymore. You changed it. It's wrong. It's all wrong. However, the way these new gangs choose to protect their own people is to carve out territory, your YouTube channel, bear arms, your mods, wear different colors, your subscribers, and settle disputes with weapons, clips, edited clips, and words to degrade and demean. The motivation for self-defense alone morphs into the same violent marauding that began the difficulty in the first place. And there are spiritual consequences for this bitter work that an individual cannot defend against. Young boys and girls developed hardened attitudes. Your children are watching. They're listening. Your energy is in them. Some turn to drugs and alcohol to obscure the nagging of the soul. Darkness cannot overcome darkness. Only light can do that. Violence can never overcome violence. Only peace can do that. Hate can never overcome hate. Only love can do that. If the act of nonviolent confrontation redeems the dignity of those who engage in it, how is it that an action of love has the power to redeem the perpetrators of violence? Our implacability, grounded in love, was ultimately what disarmed the weapons of fear and thwarted the intention of our violators to annihilate us. In order to beat people who radiate love and acceptance, an individual has to override his or her own conscience and allow anger and brutality to have its way without limitation. Most people cannot do this. They have a conscience. Their souls convict them of the injustice they are about to inflict, and they hesitate. Sometimes that moment of hesitation creates a self-awareness that bars them from acting. No one is born hating one another because of the color of his skin or his background or his religion. People must learn to hate. And if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. Nelson Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom. Diffusing the fury of violence by obstructing and redirecting the attention of an attacker is itself an act of love. Violence has consequences. My colleague, Representative Spencer Bachus from Alabama, who represents Birmingham today and lived through the days the city was called Bombingham, often discusses how merciful nonviolent confrontation was, even for those engaged in hate, because it spared Birmingham decades of revenge killings that he believes would have been the aftermath of a violent confrontation. Having compassion for your attacker means you harbor no malice and seek no retribution for the wrong that has been done. It is an offering of love that asserts the victim's self-worth. It makes room for the inner working of his or her soul that has a way of invoking a quiet insistence to do what is right. This brings to mind the one and only attacker of the 40 times I was arrested and jailed, who apologized to me for his actions. Almost 48 years after that now famous Freedom Ride stop in Rock Hill, South Carolina, that left Albert Bigelow and me so badly bruised and bloodied, Elwyn Wilson, one of our attackers, wanted to come to meet me. Wilson had apologized to other freedom riders during ceremonies honoring them in South Carolina and had mentioned his wish to find the men he had beaten up that day in Rock Hill. I welcomed him to Washington, and as we sat, Wilson looked deep into my eyes, searching my expression, and said he was the person who had beaten me in Rock Hill in May of 1961. He said, "I am sorry about what I did that day. Will you forgive me?" Without a moment of hesitation, I looked back at him and said, "I accept your apology." The man who had physically and verbally assaulted me was now seeking my approval. This was a great testament to the power of love. The power of love to overcome hatred. Each and every one of us, each and every one of you, has the power to turn our enemies around because we are all a spark of the divine. It does not matter whether we are fit or weak, short or scrawny, or big and strong. There is no adversary who can defeat us if we believe in our own inner capacity to overcome. Sometimes we have to gain tools to overcome our adversaries. We might need to study, to get help, to pray, or develop a plan, or change our social media, or stop talking to people at work. But there is no obstacle we as human beings cannot overcome. Not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. Mother Teresa. From the moment he attacked me that day, this former member of the Ku Klux Klan, and I had entered into a strange bond. Though we were linked through an act of hostility, the connection was made nonetheless. Even in violence, the unity of humanity cannot be broken, and that is why it is more productive to acknowledge the bond from the beginning and move from there. The struggle is simply an elongated path to the abiding conclusion. We are all one people, one family. Hey, Gordo Poppy. Hey, boo. I be missing you in the mornings. Hey. Wilson has said publicly that he is glad to be able to count me as a friend today, and he has expressly mentioned his gratitude that we did not press charges that day. His life and the life of his family could have been changed forever if South Carolina had actually tried and convicted him. But beyond that, had he been tried, it would have added a layer of justification to the rationalization that always accompanies guilt. If he had been publicly vindicated, and you know he would have been, this is the Deep South, which would have been the likely outcome, it would have been more difficult for him to come to the point where he eventually believed an apology was even in order, and more difficult for him to feel love. Elwyn Wilson also said that he was glad we did not have any weapons that day. If Albert Bigelow and I had inflicted harm in Rock Hill, we would have fueled the flames of violence instead of putting them out. Any sense of remorse would have had to compete with the fire of anger. Instead of a possible reconciliation, revenge would have been the product of the violent confrontation in Rock Hill. But because we met this man in love and offered him our respect, despite his obvious hatred, it gave him nothing to justify his anger. Y'all, I love y'all. Can y'all please stop giving people reasons to justify their anger and their hatred towards you? Shoot them with love. Shoot them with silence. And go about your business. And spread more love in different spaces and places. And watch them do what that on the Wiz at the end, the witch, and she shriveled up because of a little water. That's what's going to happen to them. If you stop giving them fuel to justify their behaviors, what they going to do? Keep attacking you and looking like a freaking fool? Because that's what will happen. Give him nothing. Give them nothing. Don't even pay them in dust. Nothing. Nothing is nothing. He left that day only to review it in his mind so many times over the years. The resonance of our innocence made room in his own soul for the realization that he needed to ask for forgiveness. I was surprised to hear him clearly restate 48 years later the essence of what I had said to the police officer as I declined to press charges almost half a century earlier. We're not here to cause trouble. We're here so that people will love each other. That was how he put it. The impact we left was undeniable. What Elwyn Wilson did took courage. He could have simply made amends in his heart, but to publicly put aside his differences and admit his era is unique and bold. By doing this, he demonstrated so poignantly. I can't stand this word, y'all. Poignantly. And the way it's spelled don't make it no better. For all to see that love that opens its arms to help heal the pain of another's suffering, not violence and self-defense. That love has the power to ultimately, not in your time, but in God's time, to ultimately disarm the attacker, preserve his or her integrity, and enable the truth to do its work. Love that meets the separating action of violence with forgiveness affirms that our ultimate and eternal unity is transformative. Even as I walk the halls of Congress and pass my Republican colleagues, some of whom have proposed some of the most damaging legislation I have ever read in my entire career, I often say, "Hello, brother." It is an acknowledgement that though we seem to differ today, in the end, after all the struggle is over, love will be the only result. There is no more convincing invitation for atonement than an awakening or a realization that occurs in one's own soul. The nonviolence of the movement was an act of love because it enabled an entire society to awaken to the truth of human unity. It made it easy for a nation to finally see the wrong was not only in the law, but inside of us. The wrong was inside of us. And it gave us the chance to work on correcting it. There is no question that there is more work to be done as a nation to indicate our full embrace of this understanding. But because the movement did not inflict damage, if you want unity on YouTube, this is literally the blueprint, y'all. Because the movement did not inflict damage, it allowed a healing to take place. It allowed this nation to take another powerful step toward the ending of its inner turmoil. Once hostilities ceased, warring parties began the work of living together, determining how to resolve their differences, even the problems that instigated the conflict in the first place. Nonviolent action stands on the truth of the unity of all humankind, and it sees the offending party as a brother or sister who has gone wrong. Its participants exercise their right to non-cooperation with unjust law or incorrect principles, but they always remember the humanity of the offender, knowing that eventually balance will be restored and the two will have to find a way to come together again. Forgiveness plays a powerful role here because it paves the way for reconciliation and love. In the movement, we did not seek retaliation or revenge against our attackers because we recognize that we could not harm them without harming ourselves. We saw them as wayward brothers and sisters who had lost their way. We learned to visualize them as innocent babies. No child is born to hate. All children are born in hope, love, and innocence. It is a troubled world that teaches these vicious values. The people that you are arguing with have been taught that. The people that you have disagreements with about your humanity or others' humanity have been taught to view the world through that lens. Do not get on their level. Do not view the world through their lens. Help them do better. Be the example. Be the change that you want to see. We saw that our attackers were also victims of a negative indoctrination that taught the false values of, and whether you are white or a certain content creator with more numbers, more views, you got commercials or a community tab, you have false values of superiority that make you look at people, other people, with inferiority. And you believe in the sanction of violence and brutality and the justification of inhumanity and hate. And if you're doing it on YouTube, you're doing it in real life. You can't tell me no different. This is who you are as a human being. Instead of suggesting that people with cultures and customs we do not understand, people with different color skin, or those who speak another language are somehow beneath us, instead of developing an elaborate rationale to justify our discomfort, it is more honest to simply admit our insecurity and gain acceptance. Once we accept differences as an acquiescence to the truth, wisdom begins to emerge. Y'all, I'm sorry, I be trying to sip on my tea in between paragraphs. That was too much. I'm going to start this over. Once we accept differences as an acquiescence to the truth, wisdom begins to emerge. Wisdom. Y'all, wisdom is not an age thing. Stop believing that. Wisdom can happen at any age, at any place in your life. Older people are not necessarily wise older people. Okay? I just want to dispel that myth of some of my younger YouTube friends, content creators. Learning says, speak the truth. We need to believe people when they show us who they are instead of making excuses for the behavior. There are so many people, because it is your favorite content creator, that you will justify their actions or their reactions because they're your fave. And I'm here to tell y'all, wrong is wrong, no matter who a person is. I have done wrong. I will probably do something wrong today and have to apologize for it somewhere in life tomorrow or the next week or the next month whenever I see that was wrong. It's not until you can see yourself in others that you are able to refrain from the bad behaviors. If you understood the power of words, if you understood the power of love, of pure, unadulterated love, you will understand the difference between tough love and hateful love. There's a lot of hateful love being spewed on YouTube. There's a lot of, I love you, so I got to beat you up with these words, baby, because you need this lashing. That's not love, y'all. That's the way you justify your behavior. And the subs, it's it's it literally, when he talked about the gangs, it's gang mentality. That's what's happening on YouTube. There's a lot of gang mentality on YouTube for your faves. Good morning, M. Renee. Hey, beautiful. Thank you for being here. Okay, I didn't even mark my space. I got threwed off. I got threwed off. Chile. Okay, I'm going back to the beginning of this paragraph. Once we accept differences as an acquiescence to the truth, wisdom begins to emerge. Perhaps the variations in appearance and expression that seem to occupy so much of our concern, tall, short, black, brown, straight hair or curly, white or yellow, fat or slender, gay or straight, are more an expression of the broad imagination of the creator than they are an indication of our own personal value or worth. You see, if these manifestations of love are all equal, then they are merely expressions of the infinite possibilities that exist in the universe. So, who are you as one of these expressions to degrade another? Who are you as a human being to talk about another, especially things that are outside of their control, like their looks or some of their behaviors that they might not be able to control? We know that there are a lot of things happening on YouTube because, and we want to say mental illness, but is it really? It could be, and it might be. But YouTube is a stage, right? Where anybody can be whatever they want to be. And some of it is very performative, in my opinion. Some of it is done on purpose just to keep the ball rolling, just to keep the peopling and talking and chatting and inboxing and screenshotting and recording. Some of it is manufactured. And until the subscribers can see that and disengage from some of these chats, it's never going to stop. If the subscribers would stop, the content creators wouldn't be able to create the content. Facts. Once we accept the perfection of other human beings and the limitations of judgments based on our experience and understanding, interestingly enough, our perspective broadens. Our minds open to the deeper nature of perfection. We see that perfection is not merely a mirror of what we have seen, known, and loved, but it reflects a multiplicity of different realities, all based on one central concept: the unity of us all. Can you imagine if we could figure out the foolishness, ignore it, and unite just on YouTube alone? The ripple effect it would have on the outside, the things that we could learn inside of this virtual space and take it into our real lives and spread that love and that unity and that joy. Y'all, we will be doing something. Everybody blames YouTube and the algorithm and the shadow banning. Nope. I don't care about none of that. And maybe because I'm so small, I ain't on nobody's radar. It's the subscribers. If we could get the subscribers to unite and quit with the fuck shit, the content creators united around love and just putting out love. Do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love to get on YouTube and laugh and gag and giggle and learn. I learn a lot on YouTube. I just can't do the toxicity and the drama of it all. But I learn a lot. I learn a lot by listening too. I listen more on YouTube than I chat on YouTube. I listen to a lot of different type of content creators. A lot. And there's so much information out here, y'all. We are in certain sectors of YouTube are in such a vicious cycle of abuse that y'all don't even see the abuse that you are perpetuating and a willing participant in being abused. Why do you want to be abused in a virtual space on a free app? The fuck out of here. It's enough abuse in the real world. We got enough shit going on in real life. And y'all come on YouTube to be abused? No, God. No, God. Oh, absolutely, Gordo. Absolutely. Please. I listen, do your thing. Do anything you want to do. I am small. I listen. If you share me, I appreciate all of it. If you use any of it, go ahead. The book is already in the description. It is Across That Bridge, John Lewis. We are in the last 2 sections of the book, but you are absolutely more than able to use anything on my channel for anything you want to use it for. All of this book is in my Elevation Station playlist as well. Absolutely. Hello, Supreme Intentions. Good morning. Oh my goodness, we would be unstoppable if we could come together. Like if we could conquer this virtual space, y'all, it's not hard, but it's just so much. It's so much. Yes, thank you for being here. Hey, you new. Good morning, sunshine. Thank you for being here. Oh my goodness, y'all are making my heart happy on the inside. Love. Y'all, I want to tell y'all about an experience that I had at my new job. And it was centered around love. And it was just so interesting. It was an interesting process. And I was the voice for the love. It was love there. And they were like, no, this, and this. I was like, I like that right there because love. And they couldn't argue against it. I was like, all of that's perfect. That's pretty. It's wrapped up really nice. I get it. It comes perfect. But this right here, this thing that I'm looking at is very imperfect. But it's wrapped in love. And that's what we need more of. At least while I'm here. I just want more love to surround me and the spaces that I reside in. It was just interesting. I can't tell you the context of it, but it was just an interesting conversation. And there is so much room on YouTube. There, like YouTube, and there's so many people on YouTube that share the same little small area of content creators. That's why I love getting out and looking at different type of content. There are other people who are just doing content and they don't get involved with the drama. But there are certain sectors on here, like they are just on a hamster wheel, literally. That's what I feel like. And I just like what's interesting, y'all, if you don't get into the chat and if you just look at these, like, let's say 5 to 10 content creators over about a 30-day period, I will say I looked at these content creators over the summer because I had some time this summer. I looked at about 10 different content creators this summer, and I didn't drop down to anybody's chat. I just looked, and they literally are in a cycle of violence, a cycle of repetitive violence and abuse, and it never stops. If there is a lull in their cycle of violence and abuse, they get antsy, and then they have to create drama and abuse because they don't know how to just be. Like it can never be still. It can never be quiet. And the reason that I'm able to see it so clearly is because I was married to a person who had that type of personality. We couldn't have a harmonious marriage because anytime it was good, he made sure that it was some fuck shit that was about to come up. Like literally, I just used to be sitting there like, where did that come from? I'm trying to go on vacation and you over here talking about what? Like we supposed to be packing right now. We couldn't even get out the door because he wanted to fight and argue. No, no, that's literally, I've lived it. So when I sit back and see it happening, I just be sitting and watching y'all. And I just be like, I wonder, do they know that this is what they're doing? They're just playing ping pong with their emotions. They're just playing ping pong with this violence, with this vitriol that is coming out of their mouth. They're just slaying dragons, but they're slaying themselves emotionally. If you emotionally, let me choose my words wisely. If you can emotionally degrade another human being, and you know you have that ability, I have that ability. I have learned to not live in that space. It is harmful to me and it is harmful to other people. But when you know you have the power of a sword as a tongue, and you know that you have the ability to weaponize your tongue, and you choose to use that weapon, you are also weaponizing it against your own being. What we do to others, y'all, it is a reflection of what is inside of us. If you have that much anger and vitriol inside of you and you haven't learned to unpack that trauma, it's trauma. If you have not yet learned to unpack that trauma and replace it with love, you got some work to do on you. And I can only say that because I have been doing the work on me. I'm not there. I don't know that I'll ever be there, but I work every day to do better. And I just want to help other people do better and be better. That's all. That's all. And I don't judge people, y'all, because listen, in order for me to watch 30 days or more of the ping pong matches, I be watching the fuck shit. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, act like I'm above the mess. I'm not. I'm not. I just don't get in it. But that doesn't make me better. We all watch train wrecks. We all slow down when it's a car accident that ain't even in our side of the freeway. It be on the other side, and we done slowed traffic down to a snail's pace because we nosy, right? I know that's who I am. I'm nosy. I am nosy as a human being, but I'm working. And I'm also working to not care anymore. When spaces become too toxic, I don't even go look anymore. I don't even want to know anymore. I don't care anymore because that type of toxicity does permeate into your soul, and you will find yourself repeating that toxicity that you have just swallowed with your eyes and your ears. You have swallowed toxicity, and it has to come out of you. All right, y'all. Everybody is speaking. Thank you for being here. Let me get through these so I can get back into this book. I don't even know where I left off at because I just stopped. When I started talking, I don't even be looking at the book no more. I did the same. I need only rainbows and unicorns in my life. Tinkerbell is you are Tinkerbell, Foxy. You already know. Sounds like my friend's husband, child. It was mine in real life. My child just like we can't just have let's just have 7 days of nonviolence, no negative words towards each other. Child, that man could make it 24 hours. I swear. And Renee says I watch a lot. I don't watch as much as I used to. I can't anymore. I can't take it. I get like a feeling comes over me, and I just have to stop. So I do watch. I watch a little less. I'm working on it. It's just like anything. It takes time to pull back and stop that bad behavior. So I'm watching less. And I almost don't comment at all. Very little or not at all anymore. I don't really comment. I watch it too, but I don't get it. I don't get in the mess. I like watching up to a point. Yep. Deep diving into people's private lives. That makes me ill. That I don't like. I don't want to know. If people are on YouTube anonymously, leave them alone. Like if they wanted to be found out, like if you I've slipped up and probably doxed myself with my name before. But why would you go deeper into who I am unless I choose to share that with you, right? Why would anybody go and try to find who you are in real life and post it? And then people is retarded. I'm not gonna say retarded because it's people on YouTube that will actually take that information and start calling your job, start calling your family members, start calling like, why are you trying to interrupt my real life? Why? I don't get it. Like, what turns you on about that? What turns other people on? What turns subscribers on to want to do that to other human beings? Why are you doing this to human beings? I'm just being human, just like you. And unless I did that to you, why are you doing that to me? Why? Deep diving into people's private lives and making up lies when I check out. Yep, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't. I do. We all do. We are all guilty, in Renee. So yes, we should acknowledge it. That's the first step to healing. Acknowledging it and then changing our behaviors. Because like I said, and I said this earlier, if the subscribers or the people would stop giving clicks and views, it will force them to change their behavior. If you're not getting clicks and views, if not even a couple people are coming to watch you, and on a replay, there's no replay gain, you don't think that would change behaviors in a major way? But we know it's not going to happen. Like, I know like that's a fantasy world that I'm living in, but I'm just going to put it out there. Just like the nonviolence movement. It was a little bit of a fantasy, but you know what I'm saying? Dreams come true. I believe in dreams. My dreams come true. My dreams come true. And yours do too. If you believe. I watch it for entertainment until it becomes toxic and they start doxing and talking about people's children. And I agree. Totally. I agree. When I say a lot, I'm saying the certain content creators chats that I visit, it's not a lot of them. I have a few that I was kind of hopping around, just monitoring and seeing, trying to make all of the, because I don't even be knowing who half the people are half the time. So I would hear a name and I'd be like, okay, well, let me go see who this person is. Then I'll go hear another name. Well, let me see who this person is. Child, and I would listen for a little bit. I go, oh Lord, I can't listen to that. That's making my ears bleed. That's making my soul feel a certain type of way. Let me tune out from this. So I was doing a lot, Renee. I was doing a lot. I was doing too much, but I do a lot less now on purpose because I have to protect my peace. Good morning, Pink Dynamite. Thank you for being here. Be safe out there driving. Yeah, I comment in very few chats. I really do. I try to keep it to myself because, just because, like, child, they done start coming after commenters. Like, how do you attack people for like, people are attacking people for being in people's chats? Since when are you not able to go into somebody's chat and say what the F you want to say? I'm a grown up. I can say what I want to say in anybody's chat. Child, they want to attack you and dox you for being in somebody's chat now. It has just gone too far. It's too much. Y'all need a life outside of YouTube. I'm just saying, I don't understand any of it. And I ain't really trying to. Okay. Where did I live? I think this is where I left off. Yeah. The goal of our work in the movement, of all of our activism and our protest, was to come to love. Our desire was not a temporary victory. We did not want to throw loose dirt on a shallow grave. We wanted to push and pull and do all we could to permanently end the injustice of legal segregation and racial discrimination, and we define those problems in broad terms. Yunus says, yes, going to content creators with mess like going through an unending maze. It's so I'd be so confused. I'd be so confused. It's only certain times in the day when I can try to tune in, and then if I tune in and I don't know who is who, I'll be like, okay, I can't listen no more because I don't know what they talking about or who they talking about. Oh my goodness. Hello, allegedly shady Shannon. Thank you for being here. I think this is my first time seeing you in my chat. Hey girl, hey. This past week showed me that I have to scale back. I was draining and it was draining and toxic. I even had to unsubscribe from a channel. I've done the same. Allegedly shady Shannon. I have done the same. It is heartbreaking and heart-wrenching, but I have done the same. And I might go back, but sometimes you just don't need the notifications because you just got to cleanse yourself, because you will find yourself thinking about it. That toxicity, y'all, like it's real. What you consume, not just in your mouth, visually, what you hear, it permeates your soul. You cannot continue to listen to the negativity and think you are okay. You are not. You are now part of the toxicity. You are now living with the toxicity and you have residue on you. Whether you drop down in the chat, whether you liked it, whether you subscribed, you have residue on you too. You got blood on your hands too. We are all guilty, and we, including me, we are all part of the bigger problem. I'm going to stand in my shit. All of us. Every single one of us. I am against censorship, but they are going to make YouTube step in. Someone is going to get hurt. And that's the sad part. It feels like it's not going to stop until somebody really gets hurt in real life. And that is making me sad, because there is no bridge too far on here that people are not willing to cross. It used to be children. Now children are on the table. It used to be elders. Now elders are on the table. It used to be your real life. Now your real life is on the table. Every single aspect of every red line that has ever existed on YouTube no longer exists. It's just fuck you, and I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do because, and then all of your subs and all of the people in your chat give you every reason why you are justified for your badass behavior. Everybody needs to stand in their shit and own it. Hey Kimber, hey boo, thank you for being here. True, and I'm not the one to be trying to dox. I will give you my address. Child, I don't want to know who anybody is in real life. It's just too much. Live your life. Live like my peace in real life. I want to protect it. I want to be on YouTube too, and I shouldn't have to choose. I just shouldn't have to choose. Right? I've tried to create safer spaces for myself to navigate on social media, so that I can keep my professional career, I can keep my YouTube experience, and my real life that I share with people on some of my YouTube spaces in separate spaces. Because I want to be able to enjoy all of the things. This technology exists during my lifetime. Because I'm a certain age, I shouldn't be able to use technology the way that I want to use it. No, God. God put me here to be random as fuck and to do all the things. You just got to protect yourself and protect your peace, y'all. Salute, as my big sis Saki says, salute your spirit and protect your peace. It is paramount. It is paramount. And people doxing people, that is terrible. That is awful. And the subscribers that are here for it, y'all need to stop. It needs to stop. Nobody should be cheering on doxing at any stage or any rate, period. It's wrong. I don't care who the content creator is. If they are the most terriblest thing walking the face of this earth, they shouldn't be doxed either. And I mean that. Nobody No individual should their information, unless they give it to you, outside of that, should be put on YouTube. It should be put on anybody's private chats and anybody's inboxes, and everybody need to stay out them. Listen. People make me nervous. I have a few people on YouTube that I'm friends with on what's that, IG, and I really don't use it a lot. I have like 2 to 3 people, my mods only, that I communicate with on IG in the chats. If you not my mod and you inbox me, I probably didn't read it. I probably deleted it immediately, and I apologize. However, one of the ways that I protect me and my brand and my space is that I don't do IG chats. I don't do the messages, whatever that's called. I don't do it. You can communicate with me though. If you want to send me an email, organizedchaos@gmail.com, that is a safer feel for me. I have seen too much drama come out of IG chats and messages. Hell no. No. So if you have ever messaged me on IG, I deleted it. And if you messaged me too much, I probably unfriended you because it gave me bad vibes. So I apologize. All right, everybody's speaking, clapping. I don't even know what I was saying because I'm just talking. All right, let's get into it. Let's get back into the book. Because we almost at the end of this one. And nope, we're not going to get to the next one because it's been an hour and a half. I get to work from home tomorrow. So if I can get up here early in the morning, I might get this last chapter out the way instead of waiting until next weekend. I'll let you guys know. Well, you'll see in the morning if I can get to it. We did not want to throw loose dirt on a shallow grave. We wanted to push and pull and do all we could to permanently end the injustice of legal segregation and racial discrimination. And we define those problems in broad terms. That is why there is a strong relationship between the labor movement and the civil rights movement, between the struggles of post-Holocaust Jews, Latino farm workers, the poor, the sick, the disenfranchised, and the disabled. We saw all of these struggles as linked to the same root cause, and we wanted to do all we could to defend the dignity of humankind, no matter what form of oppression people were facing. Today, young people have no comprehension of how we could have taken what seems to them to be such illogical and irrational steps in the fight for freedom. They cannot understand how sitting next to another human being or drinking from the same water fountain could be viewed as illegal. The work of love left no scars, no obscuring of what side was right and what side was wrong. The only damage that needed and still needs healing is that inflicted by unjust laws and civil traditions. But as a society motivated by the power of faith, love, and peace, we took the necessary steps to move in that direction. Inside this discipline and philosophy, I became grounded in an unshakable way. Sometimes I feel like a tree planted by the rivers of water. A tree that is deeply rooted cannot be easily moved. Hurricanes and tornadoes can bend its branches almost down to the ground, but it takes a great deal to unseat a tree that is firmly planted. I know today that there is a power, a force that can never be corrupted or defiled. And that is the power of love. Roots of love nurtured by a river of faith are a sure protection against many dangers, even the power of military might. And I say this not as an idealist who speaks in poetry and platitudes, but as a realist who has faced an army of weapons drawn against me with love as my only defense. He stood. He made a decision to stand on a bridge, the Edmund Pettus Bridge. On the other side of his decision was victory or death. He knew those were the only options. He had no weapons to defend himself. He only had love. The love we are able to feel toward one another today across communities and cultures, even though it may only be a trickle from a dam that still needs to be released, cannot be easily shaken. Some people want to turn back, but it will not be easy to turn off the spigot and retract the waters that have flowed into human hearts so easily. That love is so much closer to the truth of who we really are as a people and as a nation than we have ever been before. And that love is here to stay. The more we focus on it and live in its truth, the greater our light will shine as a nation, the more enlightened our policies will be. Creative diplomacy will supersede the robotic drone of militarism. And we can find our natural place as leaders in a world community that is rejected the illusion of separation and responds with the power of love. If you want to change what's happening on YouTube, if you want to change what's happening in some of these sectors on YouTube, the change begins with you. The change that you are looking for begins with you. Do the work. Figure out what traumas are causing you to act, to react. Choose love and be the change you want to see. I love you all. I appreciate you, and I thank you so much for being here. If I can do it in the morning, I will get in here and I will read the final chapter of this book, which is called Reconciliation. You all have a beautiful and a blessed Sunday. No drama today. Let's get the rest of the day drama free, toxicity free. I love you. Bye.